If you have a question or comment for our podcast, give us a call, 406-219-7839, or email a voice memo to podcast@theminimalists.com. Let us know that you're a private podcast subscriber so we can prioritize your message. It looks like Martina from Princeton, New Jersey has a question for us.
How do you forgive yourself for wasting time on stuff? Currently, I'm in my early 30s, and even though I'm grateful that I'm learning this lesson now and changing my life, I still feel guilty that I wasted my 20s on buying stuff, organizing it, cleaning, rather than spending that time on things and people that actually matter to me.
Where do you want to start here, Ryan, TK?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, God, I try not to beat myself up. Like, beating myself up, like, because this doesn't sound like guilt. It sounds like shame to me. And I think that's what shame does. Shame will take you out of the present moment. It'll make you feel like you're somebody who you're not. It could make you feel guilty, I guess. But for me, it's about just, I've never found any reason to beat myself up. The thing that helps me the best is when I behave differently. So like, for example, when Mariah and I were first together, I definitely would rage in the sense of like not being patient with her and just not being the best partner that I could possibly be. And then after that would happen, I'd feel guilty about it. Like, wow, like why can't I just be compassionate towards Mariah? Even if I'm mad, like I should still show her compassion, and I would beat myself up. So now, instead of beating myself up, like I behaved like the best way to tell her sorry is to like treat her very kindly and lovingly. And like, that's what I go out of my way to do. So with this, with Martina's question here, stop. I mean, I'm giving you permission to stop beating yourself up, but like the way you're going to feel better and like be able to forgive yourself and move past it is if your actions are now in alignment with what you truly value and what you believe. Like, just act in accordance to the life that you want to live, and that guilt and especially that shame, like it will start to fade. But holding on to it, and like, I mean, it makes me think of what do they call it? In the Da Vinci Code, where the guy's like bashing himself, like there's this religious practice of like hurting yourself, and somehow this is virtuous because you're causing yourself pain. I mean, this is a much smaller sample of that practice. But regardless of how big that practice is, if you're using it, I don't think that's beneficial. I don't think that is ever beneficial to just cause yourself pain. That's not virtuous. It's not virtuous at all.
Even the ascetics would do that as well. They would often, when they've deprived themselves of every pleasure, they started turning toward pain. Sleeping on broken glass, stepping on sharp nails, and in order to maybe appreciate the natural state in a way. And I think maybe temporarily that can help someone, but that path of straight up masochism doesn't lead to a more enriched, fulfilling life the same way that hedonism doesn't.
Right.
This is a problem that I call the problem of the hypothetical demon, where you compare your actual past to a hypothetical past, which if you had chosen would have made you happier. And the problem with that is, first of all, you don't know that, because even if you had chosen the hypothetical past, there would just be another hypothetical that you could then compare that to and think, oh, I would have been happier with that. There's literally no choice you can make that won't be haunted by the hypothetical demon, because the hypothetical demon can always say, you could have dated a different person. You could have went to a different school. You could have moved to a different state. You could have accepted a different job, and maybe you would have had even more happiness than you have now. And you have to recognize that that's an illusion. The reason you're able to look back on your past and judge it the way you are is because you have wisdom now. And that wisdom has come to you through the choices that you made at a time when you were working with the best information that you had. You didn't know then what you know today. And the way that you got here is by being true to who you were at the time. You can't alter that. You embrace that wisdom that you have and move forward with that. Something to make it a little bit non-academic and personal. I went home to Chicago once, a few years back, to celebrate a birthday. And there's a close friend that I have there, and I tried to hook up with him, and we texted each other back and forth a little bit, and it just started to feel complicated, like we couldn't make it work. And I was like, don't worry about it, man. We'll get together. We'll get together next time. Shortly after that, he passed away. And I beat myself up over that for a long time and said, I made the wrong decision. I should have done that thing. Now, had I done that thing, I would have enjoyed that time with him, and I'm sure I would have been happy. But I don't know if I would possess the sense of urgency that I have now about making time for friends when they're in town or when I'm in town. If I would have chosen that path, I would have had a good time, and I would have been thankful that I had that good time. As a result of how things have transpired now, if I got somebody that I love, I'm not going to let the opportunity pass without telling them that. If I got a chance to be with somebody, I'm not going to take for granted that I'll have that chance again tomorrow. So the wisdom that we have today is the result of the person that we become by being true to who we are at each given moment in time, and then experiencing the knowledge that can only come from experience. There's always going to be a hypothetical past. You can't go back and do that. You've got to let go of what's already transpired and embrace the wisdom that you have now.
By the way, to forgive is to let go. To let go of future trauma that's caused by clinging. Because really what you're doing with the past exists only in the present moment. It is always now. I know that is a Hindu or Buddhist cliche at this point, but there's a hyper truth within this, because the past and the future both occur in the present moment. And so we're holding on, clinging to that past. And it causes trauma in your future as you continue to drag it into now and now and now and tomorrow's now and next week's now. And so what's happening here for Martina is she's holding on to that, and it's causing trauma now. Well, how do you let go? You forgive. You forgive yourself. And how do you forgive yourself? Well, you might have to even apologize to yourself. Martina, I'm going to send you a copy of our book, Love People, Use Things. There's an entire section in there about apologizing to others, apologizing to yourself, and sort of the power of apologizing. So if you enjoy our podcast, I think you'll enjoy the audiobook version of Love People, Use Things, or if you want the book or the ebook version, I'll be happy to send those to you as well.
Joshua, like this quote I heard Patrice Washington say, forgiveness is letting go of the idea of a better past.
Dig it.
Yes. Because you can't relitigate that past. You can simply let it go, because this didn't happen to me, as my mom said. This happened.
Did you enjoy this standalone Patreon highlight? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalists private podcast available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists or click the link in the description. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.